Hey, welcome back, my fellow Rastasians. Back in the days when I was learning Python, I never thought that I would be like creating other types of videos other than Python. But here we are changing. So, in today's video, we are going to have, or I would like to rather show you a little bit of thought process that in recent days I have tried to implement or something like that. So, and this is related to type safety and the options in or optional in Rust. So let's say we have a function which is called optional, and it takes a variable and it returns an option, and this option is going to be a string. And basically, when we are working with an option, we are saying that it's either going to be of a value of a given type or not something. And in this function, we have a variable x, and if it's 0, then we are going to return none. Otherwise, if x is divisible by 0 without remainder, then we are going to return some string, and we say that it is even. Otherwise, we are going to return some string, which is called odd. And it now seems to be correct, at least the warning is related to the fact that I never called this function. And now if I go ahead and simply call this optional, I could say that the result is going to be optional, and the value is going to be, I don't know, 10. And then I could use the print line. The result was, and the result. So it seems to be complaining, and it doesn't implement the display trait. So let's fix that. We are going to use the debug trait. And if I go ahead and try to execute it, what I can say is that the result was some even. If I go back and say that the value is 0 and run it again, it says that the result was none, and so on and so forth. And what I can also do is, if I say that the value is 7, is to call the question mark, and it says that the question mark operator can only be used in a function that returns a result or an option or another type that implements from residual trait. So basically what I wanted is to unpack this value and assign it to the 7 or to the result. And I can also do it with unwrap. And if I run it again, you can see that the result was odd. And I can also say that the result was even. And I can also check the value with 0. And basically it's going to say that unfortunately it was none. So if I want to make it more like Rust-like or Rust compatible or Rustasian-ish, I can use the match, and I can call the optional. And in the optional, I say the value is 10. And I say that if it's some even to string, then I can say that the number is even. if I pass the value some odd and call the to string, I can say that the number is odd, and there is also a non-arm. The value is none. Now, if I want, I can go ahead and try to execute it. So expected pattern found an expression. Arbitrary. Maybe this is not the right approach. Expected string, okay, to string. And to string. Expected a pattern found an expression. Why is that? Odd to string. There may be some kind of a mixed up. So even, is this working? Option string, found static string. So it should be some even and some good. Expected. Let's make it string from. Why is it not eating this one? Let's change it up a little bit. And that way we are not going to need this one. Come on, why did it jump out? We are getting there, at least to my point. Good. So now it should be the static string. Good. And some to do. Good. So and it's a function call. Good. So my problem with this part is that there are lots and lots of moving parts. And I want to make it a little bit more bulletproof, because if this return value for whatever reason changes, I have to adjust the return type, and I also have to adjust the match arm. So basically it's not that flexible or rustish. And what I would like to do is to say that I have an enum and it's called possible, and it's possible that the number is odd or even. That's the first improvement. And in the option, I am going to return something of type possible. So it should be a value which is contained within the enum called possible. And now what I can do is to return the possible even and return the possible odd. And then I will have to adjust my match arm, and I say that if it's some possible even or some possible odd, then I can say that these are the values. Now I have no need for the last match arm, and I still can keep the none value. If I run this again, you can see that it compiles and executes successfully. And if I change the value to whatever I feel like changing, it is going to work accordingly. So if I give it an odd value, it is going to return that the number is odd. So far so good, but what if I want to outsource this number so I don't have to recompile every time I want to check what's the return value of this optional arm? And I can do this by simply saying that I want to use the std IO, and after that I can create my mutable input, which is going to be a string, and I can say that please enter a number, and I just mark it as I32 and then use the IO standard input to read a line to the mutable reference of the input, and I expect a failure, and it is going to say that cannot read a number. So this will abort the execution. Then I can say that the number is equal to input trim parse expect cannot or not a valid number. And I can change the optional arm or the match statement to process the number. And if I run this again, I can see that I am prompted for the number. And if I say 10, the number is even. And if I say 7, the number is odd. If I say 0, the number is none. Basically, this is how it works. And one last thing that I want to do is to read it from the same line where the prompt is made. And in Rust, if you have this print line statement, you can change it to print. But if you only change it to print, you will see an interesting thing. When I execute it, it is staying there. So I assume that it is expecting a number. And when I hit enter, the message arrives that please enter a number, and the number is even. And after digging through some documentation, what I found is that the IO std out has a flush method. And it is going to flush out basically whatever you want to write to the console. And it is going to also have this return value for struct std out. If the trait is in scope. Haha, good. So we have to change it to self and right. Good. Now the complaint is that it returns value, but it is never used. So let's just capture it and throw it away. So now, if I run my application again, you can see that it is providing me with the message. I am reading the number and printing out the result. If I take it for a test drive and say that this is the value I provide, you can see that the thread is going to panic, and it says that this is not a valid number, and this is the error message. If I say that this is clearly a bigger number than what I32 can hold, and hit enter, it says that it has this pos overflow error. But apart from that, we can safely use it, and with the right values, it is going to run appropriately and in the right order. So I know the start of the video was not that hardcore, but I hope that my point is kind of getting through what I wanted to show you. So that was all I wanted to show you in this video. See you in the next one.